You're listening to the How to Talk to Girls podcast, where you'll learn step-by-step how to meet and seduce beautiful women. Whether you're looking for one night of fun, a week-long fling, or a long-term relationship. I'm your host, Trip, and the episode starts now. Hello and welcome to another episode of the How to Talk to Girls podcast. I'm your host, Trip Kramer from tripadvice.com. I want to make a quick announcement. If you don't already know, we have some spots available for the Chicago live seminar that I am doing on Saturday, November 3rd. If you want more information about that, go to tripadvice.com/events. That's right, I'm doing a seminar here in Chicago where I am living, where I'm staying, Saturday, November 3rd, and we're going to be going over some advanced attraction techniques, how to up your game, how to get women attracted to you using some specific techniques that I've not shared yet on YouTube, I have not shared on this podcast, and you need to come and learn this stuff. Now, I only have a few spots available, but there are spots right now. So go to tripadvice.com/events and sign up and come. I'm only charging $47. It's cheap. It's going to be easy for you to join. So come one, come all, wherever you're coming from, make it happen. Get here. Let's do this. tripadvice.com/events. I hope to see you there. Now let's get into today's episode. This doesn't happen too often, and I'm very excited about this. So check this out. This is a podcast question that was sent in regarding the episode where I talked about what a hot girl at a bar said to me. So here is her thoughts, and well, it's not so much a question, it's really just her thoughts. Okay, here it is. Hi there. I'm a 41-year-old woman who gets lots of action from younger guys that approach me in bars. I have some comments about this episode. Number one, I'd like to know where you got the info that a woman peaks at 25 and a man in his mid-30s. I disagree. Sexually, a woman peaks in her late 30s and a man peaks at 18, which is why the cougar-cub relationship works in bed. Personally, I feel much more attractive now than I did then. I'm in better shape and am approached much more often. I never had children, so I think the amount of kids a woman has might affect her attractiveness more than age. This episode really seems to be setting men up to fail. I think a point that really needs to be made to your listeners is to go for women that are in their hotness category. If they're a 6, maybe they can get an 8. If they're a witty, generous, funny comedian or something, but don't tell a 6 to go after a 10. They will get let down, and that will hurt their confidence. Hot women are attracted to hot men with very few exceptions. Once in a while, a really hot woman ends up with an ugly guy. You know why? Wage inequity. So sometimes they decide to get taken care of by an old, ugly guy. But really, they're banging the hot, young neighbor on the side. Those are my points. I've heard some points of yours that I found interesting and have agreed with, so I will carry on listening. It is heartening that you actually have listeners that are trying to learn about women. I hope you are being advised as much by actual women as by scientific studies. Both are valid. I give guys tips on how to attract women all the time too. So nice to see a fellow dude is helping the other man folk. Have a lovely day, Trisha. What a great response. This is a great response for so many reasons. Very polite, by the way. Very polite, well-spoken. And Trisha, if you're listening to this episode, hello. It's nice to meet you. In fact, you know what? If you're so inclined, I want you to email me, trip@tripadvice.com. Let's talk to you. Let's get you on an episode of How to Talk to Girls. I'm sure the guys would love to hear from you. A woman who is, well, you sounds like you're giving some tips too. Sounds like you're interested in this. So you might have some interesting things to say. So if you're listening, email me, trip@tripadvice.com with the subject line, Trisha. So I know it's you, even though I'll probably see your email from Trisha. But either way, go ahead, email me. Let's get you on an episode. So I'm going to respond to basically what you're saying here. So first of all, okay, 41 years old, awesome. Getting action from younger guys. Yes, that happens. That happens quite a lot. There's a lot of things that happen, right? Across the board. Women who are older get approached by younger men. That is definitely a thing. And I'm sure it's happening to you. And that's great. And it's great that you're feeling so attractive in your age, where I think it's probably common for a lot of 41-year-old women to not feel that way, which kind of leads me into where I got this information about the peaking. I don't remember where I got it from specifically. I don't have any reference point that I can tell you. But from what I remember, from what I've heard, It's just generally speaking, a woman peaks in her looks in her mid to late 20s, and a man peaks in his career in his early to mid 30s. Okay. And also physically attractive. Men are known to get better looking with age, and women are known to get less better looking with age. Now, this can be an opinion. Maybe it's my opinion. Maybe I thought I heard it somewhere, but either way, it doesn't matter. This is my opinion. I think that's just how it goes. Now, I'm not saying that a woman isn't of value as she gets older. I just mean that in terms of her dating success, a woman has a lot of dating success in her early, mid, and late 20s, because this is when she, isn't as jaded about the world. A lot of women do tend to get jaded as they get older and have relationships that don't work out or, can't get into a relationship for whatever reason. They are much more physically attractive in that point in time. Again, I'm not saying that a woman turns 30 and she's ugly, or she's 40 and she's ugly. That's not what I'm saying. But I think it's easy to agree here that a woman will probably look her best when she is of that age. If anything, that's my opinion. For men, they tend to get a little bit more attractive as they get older. Again, another opinion, but I think pretty common. And on top of that, also, they end up becoming a little bit more confident because they've lived a little bit more of a life, and they have also, hopefully, have done well in their careers at this time, so they have money. Now, I'm not saying you need money to attract women, but having money sets you up for a better life and allows you more access to resources to meet more women and be able to network more and things like that. So I'm just kind of combining everything here. Again, no one has to take this anywhere. There's nothing to do with this information. It's not like you should only go for women who are 25. Go for any woman you want, which we'll get into in a little bit here from what Trisha says. Do whatever you want. I just think that it's funny from the last episode that, girl said to me, as she's probably going to be the best looking she's ever looked and will ever look, because as we all age, we go down in attractiveness level in terms of what we look like. And it's funny to hear that she had such self-conscious issues. If you don't know what I'm referencing, by the way, listener, go check out that episode where I believe it's called What a Hot Girl at a Bar Said to Me. So yeah, check that out. But yeah, that's kind of how that works. Yes, I've also heard that women peak sexually as they get older and men peak a little bit sexually as they get younger, but I'm more talking about kind of like what society would give value to, okay? Society would give value to. And society happens to give a lot of value to women who are younger. Whether that's right or wrong, that's what's happening. And society gives a lot of value to men who are older, making more money, doing better with their career and in life. But again, there's nothing to do with this information. This doesn't mean that, I'm a 35-year-old dude and I'm not that good looking and I'm not making any money and I can't get girls. It doesn't matter. That's the whole point of what I'm trying to teach here in my podcast and everything that's going on. So let's move on to what she says here. She says this episode's setting up men to fail. Trisha believes that you should go for someone in your hotness category. This is so funny. I feel like I just watched that movie, She's Out of My League, with Jay Baruchel and Alice Eve. What a stupid movie. You want to learn everything not to do with women, watch that movie. Seriously, watch that movie. Everything that character, Kirk, the actor is Jay Baruchel, everything he does, just do the opposite. He is the epitome of someone who would ever attract any woman in his life because he's really just pathetic the whole time, which is part of the funny part of the movie. But yeah, anyways, to move on here, in that movie, there's a whole dialogue about like, if you're a 6 as a guy, you can only jump 2 points and you can't get a 10. First of all, let's just throw away these numbers for a second, okay? Let's just throw away these numbers. You don't need to label anyone as a 5, 6, 10, whatever. You don't need to label yourself. You don't need to label women. Labeling those women and yourself is just, you're automatically taking this assumption that a woman has all this value and you're going to be ended up putting her on a pedestal and you're going to treat her different. This is bad. You don't want to treat a 10, supposedly, whatever, I'm just using that terminology in this example. You don't want to treat a 10 differently than a 9 or an 8. A lot of guys will do that. They'll be like, oh, well, she's a 5, and I need to, work less, or things are different. It's like, no, attraction works the same way, okay? The same way. Yeah, there was a study done where they showed, I guess they proved that people who are of certain attractiveness level will gravitate towards that in terms of physical attractiveness. So there was a study that did prove that. But that's just if people just kind of don't really try, It's like if you just kind of wander around and just kind of see what happens, yeah, you might end up with someone of your physical attractiveness level, but you can hack that. It's the whole reason, again, for my podcast here, because I'm teaching you that that's not how attraction has to work. Yes, there is attraction on physical level. Women will go for a man who they find physically attractive, but when you finally put yourself in front of a woman and you have the desired personality that she's looking for, you have the behavioral traits that she's looking for, the confidence, the courage, the assertiveness, the ability to have conversation, being charismatic, those things will make you more attractive, even if you're not a typically physically attractive guy. So, yes, you should still go for 10s, whatever. You should still go for any woman you find attractive. Any woman you find attractive, please do this, okay? Talk to them. Yeah, you might get shut down, but who cares? I mean, Trisha, you're saying here they will get let down and that will hurt their confidence. Well, hopefully it doesn't, because guys, you should know that you're not going to attract every girl. Yeah, you're going to get rejected. So you got to toughen up here, okay? You got to toughen up. I don't want you to just not go for women because, they might turn you down and then that's going to hurt your confidence. No, it's like, all right, so you got turned down. Big deal. Big deal. You're not a shitty person. You're still awesome. So keep going, because you never know what can happen. So I don't think, Trisha, that there are few exceptions to this rule. I think that a lot of average physically looking men can attract a more higher attractive woman. It can happen more than not. I think a lot of people don't try. I think we don't see it as much because a lot of guys who are not physically attractive just have low confidence because of society's standards on what attractiveness is, and the whole, things like movies that are telling us they're out of our league, right? All of that is completely ruining guys' confidence. So yeah, we see good looking people together because yes, they're together because they're physically attractive, but because I think there's not a lot of guys trying, really. And now, you say here wage inequity. So sometimes they decide to, get taken care of by an old, ugly guy. Yeah, I'm sure that happens all the time. Of course, there are beautiful women who go for old, ugly men, use them for the money, and then have sex with the guys that they're really attracted to. Okay, sure, that happens. But that doesn't prove to me that a woman who is considered very beautiful won't be attracted into a guy who's not considered physically attractive. That's just my opinion. Those are my thoughts. But still, Trisha, awesome. If you're still with me and you're listening to this episode, cool. Thank you for responding. I really appreciated your comments and this email that you sent. And thank you for doing that. Thank you for sharing your opinions and doing it so politely. It's refreshing. It really is. I don't get a lot of emails from women. It rarely happens in terms of commenting on any kind of podcast or YouTube or anything like that. So it's very refreshing to hear from you. So once again, I just want to kind of reiterate here. So my point is this. You who's listening, please try and go for the women that you want, that you're attracted to. Don't label them a number. Just label them as a person that you're interested in or not interested in. And also, please don't just focus on attractiveness level in terms of physical, okay? Please don't just go for a girl because she's hot. Please, by all means, of course, go for women that are attractive. But can you also talk to women and find out if they're actually cool? Get to know women. Get to know them, okay? You're going to find there's a lot of women out there who are beautiful, but don't have the personality to match it. So what's the deal there? Well, the deal is you shouldn't be with those women. Of course, if you're just looking for a casual hookup, that's one thing. But if you're looking for anything else and deeper, trust me, this is not going to be a fun relationship. And looks don't last forever. So then you're stuck with a woman who just kind of sucks. Is that what you want? I don't think so. Don't forget to check out tripadvice.com/events. Join me Saturday, November 3rd. If you're listening to this and it's after November 3rd and you're like, what the heck? Well, go to that page anyways, because there's always going to be an update there on the next live event. So I hope to see you there. Hope to meet you. Check it out, tripadvice.com/events. Thanks for listening.